Hello and welcome to the series of Getting to Know Our Speakers for the PUG Challenge 2023. And this morning I am in the company of Mike Fechner. Hello, Mike.
Hello, Wim. Thanks for inviting me to this.
Well, thanks for finding the time in your also busy schedule.
Well, you know, even when we're busy preparing for the conference, there's no schedule to find time for a meeting with you.
Oh, that's very nice. So I really can't recall any Progress conference without you speaking on it, but nonetheless, for the few new people we may have for this year conference, please present yourself, your name, your company, and what you do.
Well, I'm Mike Fechner, working as a director, founder at Consulting Work. I'm busy with many other roles within the organization. I'm involved in many customer projects as a lead architect during modernization. I'm responsible for the development of our products in the role of architect and product manager. And well, I'm glad that since 33 years, I still find time every day to have my hands on the keyboard and write beautiful ABL or 4GL code, whatever you want to call it.
Yes. Well, I remember we first met like 25 years ago when you built something for Progress Software Italy. Remember that?
Oh yeah, well, that was the wild years of WebSuite in Italy. That was some nice projects we had there. Yes,
Yeah.
I will never forget.
No, certainly. But let's not get too nostalgic and look at the breakout sessions on the PUG Challenge 2023. You got 3 of them. Let's start with the ABL legacy code. What's that about?
Well, it's about refactoring patterns. I mean, most attendees at the conference will have aged ABL applications. And for many people, modernization is a hot topic. And depending on the goals of modernization, there are different paths you could take. So for some, it's enough to just take the business logic that's within the GUI client and extract it from there and put it more or less as it is onto the app server, and you're able to expose it to a web application. But if your modernization goals are also to reach more cleaner code, then that may not be enough. Then you want to actually be splitting up your business logic into services like business entities, business tasks, etc. My colleague Peter Judge and I, we've recently written a blog post about what we call the OERA maturity model, where we are explaining different levels of how you could achieve a service-oriented architecture and maintainability, and well, every developer needs to find how good is good enough for him.
Yeah, certainly. And well, I suppose that you talked about the app server, so information is passed through Temp-Tables and ProDatasets, right?
That's a key part there, depending on what type of client. I mean, to the ABL client, we're passing datasets and temp tables directly. But if it's a web application, then we're serializing those datasets to typically JSON files these days. Nobody really uses XML anymore.
No, exactly.
And yeah, ProDatasets are very important. And it's always still very surprising how little many developers know about ProDatasets and some of their nasty bits.
And that is where your other session comes in. It's about the mysteries.
The mysteries of ProDatasets and Temp-Table parameters, it still occurs to me, and I'm using ProDatasets and Temp-Tables since they've been available in the language. Don't recall when that was exactly, but I see it so often when developers start using them, and also experienced developers, that they make mistakes in using them and passing them around as parameters, which in the less dramatic consequence only cause slow, bad performance. But I've also seen developers passing them around and causing tremendous memory leaks, which could lead to client session crashing or app servers becoming unresponsive and all these things. So also a very important topic, if you ask me.
Yeah, and especially for those who are still have to migrate to the PaaS-OE, where this memory leakage is a very, very sensitive question.
Yeah, but you're not doing PaaS-OE right there. It's everybody has heard something about PassOE and this multi-threaded and memory leaks, which sounds like PassOE is poorly written, and that's definitely not the case. It just has a different concept that makes it a little bit more vulnerable by the bad code that we execute on it.
Yes, yes, of course. So, and your third breakout session, it's about .NET, and I remember that you could only give that when it was released, and luckily it has been released in the 12.7 version of OpenEdge. So, what does this .NET Core give us?
Well, first, a lot of confusion. I mean, it's, Microsoft has done a great job in confusing developers about .NET Framework and .NET and .NET Core. I mean, the .NET is there since 2001, 2002, and everybody has been talking for the last 20 years about .NET. And now suddenly Microsoft tells us, hey, what you've been using as .NET for the last 20 years, we're now calling it the .NET Framework. And now there's a new .NET, and a lot of things are compatible, but not everything. The very interesting thing about using .NET Core or .NET 6, which is available from 12.7, is first we've found out that there are significant performance benefits compared to using the classic .NET framework, which you could still use in 12.7. The usage of the classic .NET framework is there since 10.2a, so I think 16, 17 years or so. I remember that I spent a great amount of time with the 10.2a beta releases when my wife was pregnant. So our son is now 16 years old, so that was then 16, 17 years ago. And so using .NET Core or .NET 6 now as an alternative makes the usage of .NET in the ABL faster. We have some benchmarks where we can see that certain operations are 2 or 3 times faster. Others are just 20, 30% faster, but everything we've measured became faster.
Okay.
So there's a certain incentive in making the switch to .NET Core. There's a lot of things different. Progress is not yet fully on par with the features that they offer for .NET Core compared to the classic .NET framework. So you need to know what you're trying right now, and I'm trying to introduce that in the presentation. And the ultimate benefit of using .NET Core and or .NET 6 is it is not limited to the Windows platform. So using .NET Core, the same components typically can be used on a Linux machine or within a Docker container or so. And if you have followed recent roadmap presentations from Progress, then you could have heard that Progress is apparently working on support for that on other platforms too.
Oh well, that's not bad.
Not that I can promise anything about any future Progress release, but I mean, I can only quote what they've publicly announced in their roadmap presentations.
Okay, well, not bad. And yes, as usual, Mike, you offer a lot of great content and breakout sessions, and there are even 2 workshops.
So together with my colleagues at the conference, we're doing 2 workshops, and the first one is about the usage of the ABL HTTP client. The ABL HTTP client has been commercially supported since OpenEdge 11.6, so quite a while. I assume most attendees of the conference are either on 11.7 or 12.2, so can use the HTTP client. And since more and more applications need to access public APIs, and most public APIs are based on HTTP and JSON REST, that is a topic that probably no ABL developer can get around.
No, exactly. And I'm sorry to interrupt you, Mike. As usual, we have ran out of time, so we are just inviting all our delegates to come to the PUG Challenge 2023 in Egmond aan Zee in the Netherlands, for a good time.
Yeah. Well, I'm also looking forward to seeing you all there. That you may know, Consulting was also sponsoring the conference, and especially on the first night, the Wednesday night, the drinks are on Consulting Werk, and it's a pleasure for us to bring the beer from our hometown Cologne, the great Kölsch beer, the best beer in the world, to
Okay,
Egmond
so
am See. So let's have a Kölsch together in the Netherlands.
that's a great idea, Mike. Thank you very much, and see you in Egmond.
See you in Egmond.
Bye bye.